Going to try to keep this as brief as I can. I already recorded it once and messed up the audio. It was 22 minutes long. I'm going to try to get it a little bit smaller than that, so I'll speak a little bit faster, maybe not address all the things I did in the first run. But as some of you know, this week, Brannon Howse of Worldview Weekend decided to launch an attack upon myself and upon the ministry, together with a couple of other gentlemen. And I'm fully aware of the fact that Mr. Howse is being used by other people. There are people in our society today that are very intent upon building huge walls between Christians and Muslims, making sure that we do not have any conversation with one another. That, of course, ends any meaningful evangelism, which is my objection to it. As Christians, we should be people who are laying down our lives to reach the lost, including those in false religious systems. But these people have their own motivations, primarily political and financial. And they write books, they do seminars about all the dangers of Islam, and there are dangers in Islam. You just need to be truthful about what they are and make proper distinctions if you're going to be a Christian and do this. If you just want to do it for other reasons, you know. Anyways, this is a powerful group, and they're pretty much behind this. It's interesting. Mr. Howse refers to me as a useful idiot. That's terminology that's been provided to him by others. It's talking points that have been provided to him by others, and we know who provided it. But the reality is he's the one that's being used here, and his ignorance is being used. He posted a video on Facebook, and it's just amazing to me because we live in a day where the internet never forgets. I suppose if the big EMP hits someday, it might. But right now, the internet never forgets. And he took a 36-second clip from one of my own videos that I posted in November of 2015. It's still on my page. It's still out there for people to look at. And it's just shocking that he would think he could get away with this because he has isolated it and turned it exactly backwards. When you listen to exactly what I said right afterwards, the very next sentence, and you listen to what I had said beforehand, it's the exact opposite of what he's intending to try to say. In fact, I had to bring it up there real quick. Sorry about that. Here's what he says. He says, James White says ISIS is not Islam as a whole. James doesn't understand either Islam or ISIS. Sounds like Barack Hussein Obama to me. Wonder who he's trying to appeal to there. Sad, apparently this guy is not the expert in Islam. He thinks he is. Okay, so there's Brannon Howse. Now, when you post something where the context is easily obtainable, honest people will expose you for your deception. Sadly, I don't think he cares about the honest people. I think he cares about a constituency that's simply going to believe whatever he has to say. That's the shame here. That's really the shame. So let me play the 36-second clip that he posted with that description, and then we'll look at what was actually said. The fact of the matter is that when someone asks the question, is ISIS Islamic? If anyone answers either yes or no without making necessary distinctions, both are not telling the truth. The conservative, militaristic Christian who says, yes, that is Islam as a whole, is lying. They're lying. That's not true. Anybody can see that's not true. So there you go. There's the section that was posted. That's it. That shows that I don't know anything about Islam. I don't know ISIS. I'm ignorant. You know, all the rest of that stuff. Here is the sentence immediately after where the video stopped. Remember, folks, this editing is purposeful. Whoever made this, you know, it could have been given to Brannon. He just may be, again, being the useful, ignorant person and just going with what he's been given. Or if he did it himself, then he's directly responsible for the misrepresentation. Either way, he's responsible. He's the one that's putting it out. But this is the next sentence. Somebody had to know. They had to know what came before this. They had to know what comes after it. So here's the next sentence. But the Muslim at the same time who says, no, 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 there's nothing. You're not being truthful either. Because you know not only the depth of the support they have, especially amongst the Salafi, the Wahhabi, but you know the nature of the hadith and how you can find things in the hadith that are supportive of what they're doing by providing a particular context. And the problem is, and this has been my argument for a long time, the problem is your sources are insufficiently consistent and coherent to end this debate. So there you go. And that's what I have been saying for a long, long time. The problem here is the sources. The Quran, the Hadith are not consistent enough with themselves to end this debate. So you can have different groups that pull different things from that material. I've been saying this for years. I'm only recently being attacked for it, but I've been saying it for years. And I stand by it. And everybody who's going, you need to debate this person. What are we supposed to debate? Seriously, what are we supposed to debate? What Christian apologist is going to stand in debate and say, I wish to defend the idea that the Quran is a perfectly consistent document and there's only one way to interpret it. I wish to defend that the Hadith are a consistent body of literature and there's only one way to interpret it. I wish to defend the idea that Muslims have always interpreted the Quran and the Hadith in the exact same way. What's there to debate? These are not debatable things, but they are things that have to be suppressed if you want to create the narrative that everybody out there, every Muslim out there has an AK-47 behind their back and wants to shoot you. So what's even worse here is the that section that I just played for you was in the midst of a lengthy criticism to my Muslim friends, and I think that's one of the problems. You shouldn't call them friends. To Muslims, exhorting them to deal with this issue in a better way. And to realize what the issues really are. And so to take that section out of that and turn it to its exact opposite intention and meaning, that's just massively deceptive. It's just dishonest on a level that's shocking for someone who calls himself a Christian. So here is the section. I'm going to play a section of it here. But here's what came before the snippet that was placed on Brannon Howse's Facebook page. One of the primary questions was, is ISIS Islamic? Well, I think the Muslims, first of all, need to stop answering that with a simplistic, oh, no, of course not. I'm kidding, right? Anybody knows that's not the case. It's not washing with people outside. You know, when you're willing to die by blowing yourself up while yelling Allahu Akbar, there's something Islamic about that. They ain't yelling Hallelujah Jesus. These people think they're Muslims. Now, I'm well aware of the fact that there are all sorts of, I'm so thankful for the 140 some odd scholars that signed the document against ISIS a couple years ago. They're taking their lives in their hands, but the very fact they're taking their lives in their hands says something, and these documents are all being written outside the Middle East, which is interesting in and of itself. But I know you exist. I am thankful you exist. I know why you exist. I recognize that. I make the proper distinctions. But I have to fault a lot of my Muslim friends who, while opposing ISIS, joined that opposition immediately with some type of anti-Israel rhetoric, some wild-eyed political rhetoric. And I'm sorry, if you want to attack Israel, and you are not at the exact same time even more loudly condemning the brainwashing of Palestinian children to stab Jews in the back, or the cartoons they have and the songs they sing. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care what you have to say. Because the anti-Jewish insanity that I see amongst many Muslims, and that I certainly see bred by the Palestinians, is just so absurd. It's beyond any level of rational discourse or comment. You can't have a meaningful discussion when people are behaving that way. It's just unreal. But back to the point. If we don't hear a recognition on the part of non-radicalized Muslims, whatever, we're struggling to find terms. Muslims who do not believe that there is a caliphate, do not believe that jihad is, in the sense of military actions, are appropriate in this context, so on and so forth. You have to recognize that the members of ISIS, some of whom are simply there because they are evil men who love to do evil. They love raping women. They love beheading people. Their consciences are seared. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't think some of you Muslims even have proper theological categories to understand the depth of evil of these men. You don't, since you don't believe in total depravity, you don't believe in original sin, you don't have a meaningful hamartiology, doctrine of sin. I don't even know how you understand how these people can do the things they do. But what you must understand is that there are others in ISIS who not only say the prayers, but are absolutely convinced that what they are doing is firmly founded in the Quran and in the Hadith. They believe that. You may say they're wrong. Fine. I wish y'all would be maybe arranging some debates with people and then letting the rest of us know and watch this. I've said to a number of my good Muslim friends, you all need to be producing clear, mass-producing books and pamphlets, not just simply saying ISIS is wrong, but showing how ISIS is wrong. Specifically, strong argumentation, multiple lines. Shouldn't be that difficult to do. But see, here's the problem. You and I both know that they are depending upon particular strata, particular elements of the Hadith, the Sunnah, and saying this is what is applicable today. And you've got to understand something. I have a book here in my hand, and this entire book, expensive book, right? $250, I think. Expensive book. This is Al-Waqidi's Campaigns of Muhammad. It's funny, they decided, very interesting in English, The Life of Muhammad. That's not what it says. That's not the Arabic title. Al-Maghazi is Campaigns. The entire book, from beginning to end. The raid of the Banu Nadir. The raid of the Al-Hudaybiyah. The raid of Al-Fatah. The raid. Here's the Battle of Badr, right at the beginning. The raid of Uhud. All it is, the whole book. How many pages is this book? 580 pages, including the index. Nothing but the military campaigns of Muhammad. Now, it simply has to be recognized that there is a fundamental difference between the character and role of Muhammad and that of Jesus. You know, when during the discussion on Unbelievable, it was pointed out, well, Jesus did this. This is what?
5 times, minimally, the length of the entire Gospels, all 4 put together. And every page of it is filled with violence, filled with warfare. He was a warlord. I mean, once he goes to Yathrib, once he goes to Medina, he's thrust into that position of being a governmental and military leader. And that's what he did. You have to recognize that material is there. And what I have said all along, and what I have to keep saying, no matter how unpopular it is, even in my own community, is that those Muslims who do not want to rape and pillage and behead and kill, those Muslims are drawing from the same body of material with their selective lens on as ISIS is. Now, ISIS is coming from a more conservative perspective as far as the authority of the hadith, which hadith to prioritize over other hadith. No question about that. But the fact of the matter is that when someone asks the question, is ISIS Islamic? If anyone answers either yes or no without making necessary distinctions, both are not telling the truth. The conservative militaristic Christian who says, yes, that is Islam as a whole, is lying. They're lying. That's not true. Anybody can see that's not true. But the Muslim at the same time who says, no, 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 there's nothing, you're not being truthful either. Because you know not only the depth of the support they have, especially amongst the Salafi, the Wahhabi, but you know the nature of the hadith and how you can find things in the hadith that are supportive of what they're doing by providing a particular context. And
okay, apologize for the messages coming through there. Anyway, there you go. There's the context. That's I don't even know how you can dispute this. This is straightforward. It's factual. Obviously, this asks of the person watching this and listening to this to think about things fairly. It doesn't lend itself to bigotry, and I think that's why it has so many people scared that we would dare do something like this. And by the way, let me point out that was posted in November of 2015. That was posted a year before Sam Shamoon started attacking me. Never said a word about it for all that time. I've been saying the same thing for a long time. It's somebody else's change, not me. I've been very consistent about this. So there's the documentation. Now, what do you do about something like this? What do you do about a man who claims to be a Christian, who will take a 36-second snippet, completely isolate it from everything around it, which gives its meaning, reverse its meaning, and then use it as a means of attacking a person involved in doing Christian apologetics and ministry? I think the people around Brannon Howse need to sit him down and say, what are you doing? And why are you doing it? We know why others are doing it, but why are you doing it? You don't know anything about Islam. This isn't. You're not doing debates in this area. Why are you doing this? What's your motivation? That's really the question. That's really the question. My motivation, I leave that to the Lord. I leave that to the body of work we've produced, the consistency of that work over decades now, and just hope and pray we don't have to do too many more videos like this, because it's discouraging on one end, but on the other end, hey, if we can utilize this to once again get the message out that we need to be putting ourselves out there in love to the Muslim people. We don't need to be naive. There's tremendous evil being done in the name of Islam. That doesn't mean that you can attribute that to everyone. You know, Brannon Howse has been saying, well, you say Yasir Qadhi's a moderate, and he's functioning on the moderate, radical, and that's it. There's nothing else. A little bit of a problem with that. Would he allow someone to say you're either Catholic or Protestant? Will he take responsibility for what all Protestants do? No. He will immediately demand a very narrow spectrum of self-definition, even down to eschatology and everything else. But then he won't extend that to the Muslims. That's called hypocrisy. It's unfortunately extremely common amongst Christians. It really is. Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. So there you go. Hopefully, like I said, we won't have to do too many more of these. But if we do, well, we'll have to try to do it in a way that is helpful to folks. Thanks for watching.